Welcome to Under the Influence. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Under the Influence podcast. Today we have Irra Tariq joining us from Pakistan. She's a
Yes.
second year med student at United Medical and Dental College in Karachi. She has multiple social media accounts, including 3 Instagram accounts and a YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel focuses on her experience as a med school student. Thank you so much for joining us today, Irra. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm equally excited.
So let's just jump into it. So I just mentioned that you have 3 Instagram accounts and you have a newly created YouTube channel, which we'll get into a little bit
Yeah.
later. Um, so with that, how would you define your relationship to social media or with social media?
Um. Yeah. Like my relationship, I want like it. It is not really very healthy. Neither it's I won't say it's like unhealthy either. It
Hmm.
really goes by the mood. If like for example, if I'm at home, so it's really unhealthy. I'm on my phone, like I have the urge to look at my phone again and again. But when I'm at my university, I come back home. I'm too tired. I have to study as well. So during those days, the days goes by, but like I'm not looking at my phone at all. So it really depends on the day and my activities, what I'm doing during the day.
So do you always hold on, sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna switch this view really quickly. Okay. So do you always like have it on you though? Like even when you go to school and when you're studying, it's always like on your person?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
so you don't get tempted when you're busy necessarily. It's just kind
Yeah,
of
that's
yeah.
true. That's true. But I also do I keep it aside. I keep it out of my sight so that I like when your phone is not in front of you. It just lowers the urge to look at it or check it. And my ringer is always it's off so that I'm not tempted by the notifications that might pop up.
Hmm.
So yeah, I do take measures to avoid using it. But like once it's out of my sight, so then it gets easier to avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually read in a book. It's called, I think it's called Irresistible. It's about like addictive technology. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a bunch of different studies that they've done regarding tech. And one of
Yeah.
them was about like cell phones and like the visually seeing it. And they did experiments where they had like two people
Yeah.
having a conversation. And like one of
Mm-hmm.
them, they put the phone out, even if no one was using it. And then another time where the phone was like hidden away. And it was like, I wouldn't say I don't remember the exact number, but it was like a significant difference in
Yeah.
like in like
It really does work. It does work. It's
yeah,
very true.
like the quality
Yeah.
of conversation was like way better when the phone was hidden and
Yes.
like people would get
Yeah.
distracted. I feel like after learning that I'm more cognizant of it. Like right now I can see it in my periphery and I just want to put it away.
Yeah.
Um
Though it's like it's on me like 24/7, but like
yeah.
if you are like in college, I just keep it in my bag. Of course, in the classroom, it's not allowed to. We cannot use it during the class hours. But like even if I'm at home, it's nearby. But like I keep it in the drawer or somewhere else. It's not visible to me. So
Yeah.
that technique, that hack really works.
So if it's so often hidden from you, what do you primarily use your phone for?
Instagram mostly. I don't
Okay.
really, yeah, Instagram and WhatsApp basically, because WhatsApp is something that I'm supposed to have because, I'm conversing with my friends 24/7, for research projects or, just in general studies. So WhatsApp is something that I used to have, that I do have. And like usually like when my phone is out of my sight, what I do is mostly I use WhatsApp web because it's quite convenient. You're not supposed to be picking up your phone again and again because WhatsApp is the like most used app on my phone. Then the next comes Instagram, and Instagram is something that's very addictive, and so yeah, I try to avoid it as much as I can.
I I like you have like multiple different Instagram
Yeah,
accounts.
yeah,
So you have a just like I don't know if it's public or if it's private, but you have like a main Instagram.
yeah,
Is it private?
yeah. It is private.
Okay, and then you have
Yeah,
like a Finsta, which is like super
yeah,
private, and then you
Yeah.
have like a photo
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So what is I haven't actually I know that you use the Finsta quite often.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I don't know how often do you use the other two?
Uh, I do use, like, the main account is the one I use the most, which is
Okay.
a private again. I yeah, like, I usually post stories a lot on that, like, because I keep up with that on that account with my friends, and current affairs is also another big reason, because I'm really interested into current affairs and politics. So I that account has I have followed, like, accounts associated with politics and news in general. So that is the account. The main account is the one I use the most. Now, the spam account, that Finsta account is there. I use it occasionally. Also, the same goes with my photography account, because I'm hobbyist photographer. I just, though I take pictures like too much, like when I'm outside, I'm like continuously clicking the sky, the clouds, and in general, the street life of Karachi. I really like it. So, but I don't really post much. I do post it, like, when I feel like when I feel it. I'll be posting 2 or 3 pictures on that account in a day or in a week.
Mhm.
But it's like each of the accounts I have, are for my different moods. Whenever I'm feeling like, I'll go on and post on that account. So it's not like I'm using all the 3 or 4 accounts that I have daily. It's
Yeah.
like, whenever I'm in the mood to, I go and I post on that account and I come back, and I don't open it again, like, for a few days after I post on that.
So with the photo account, is it more just like a collection for
Yeah.
yourself? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like I don't want to show it to the world or something, though it's public. But it's like more like, it's personal. Like, I have a particular attachment with every picture I've posted over there. So I would just, like, when I want to, like, in future, when I want to go through those pictures, I just
Mm.
want to go through all the memories. I saw that, that roti wala sitting on that street, and I recall things. So I have this association with pictures. So though it's a public account, I do post it for myself only.
Oh, okay. That's really nice. It's like a modern
It
day
sounds poetic.
scrapbook.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can say that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said on your regular account you're interested in like politics and current affairs. Is that like you enjoy using that account to seek out that information or to talk about that information or both?
Yeah. Yeah, both in
Okay.
general, and not just only current affairs. Like, also, there are medical research pages, because being a medical student, we are supposed to be doing research in Pakistan. Like, we are supposed to be submitting at least one research paper in our 4th year. So medicine in general, medicine news, current affairs. Current affairs, of course, includes everything, not just politics. So yeah, I like to keep informing others as well, and be self-informed as well at the same time.
Cool. Okay. So we have that's your Instagram use. So you
Yeah.
started a YouTube channel recently, about a month ago, right? And I think you have about like
Yeah.
5 videos.
Yeah. 6 videos, I guess. I just
6?
posted
Okay.
one today. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So looking through it, it's doing like for just being up a month, you have, almost 80 followers, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
And your
Hmm.
thumbnails look so professional and like good. So like what and I guess I've seen sort of similar like videos. Like I saw you had one that's like a study with me video and like
Yeah.
different stuff like that. So can you talk to me a bit about this channel? What is the
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah. So basically, my channel is more related to my medical life in general. As a medical student in Pakistan, what I go through. I started this channel on great peer pressure. I wasn't really into YouTube. Like 3 or 4 months ago, my peers, they were like, they were pushing me to make a channel related to current affairs, because they thought that I can talk a lot about it. But I was like, not like, I do want to keep up with current affairs, but I don't want to kind of get more involved in it. So I wasn't really into making a current affairs channel. But then I thought, okay, fine. I also love teaching, because I wanted to do something as a part time. I just wanted something that I can enjoy. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll start a teaching channel. I posted, the very first video was about me posting the orbit of I. Teaching orbit of I on a piece of paper. It was not a face cam video. So, but then I was like, if I don't want to continue, learning and studying even in my part time. So I want to do something fun. So I switched this channel after just one video to daily life kind of related channel of a medical student. So yeah, that's basically what it goes about. I'm talking about my medical life, what you should be doing, what I experienced, what I go through, and stuff like that.
What is Orbitify?
Yeah, like for example, your eye is fixed in a socket inside the skull, right? That's called orbit of the eye.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Just the socket of your eye is called orbit in a more scientific, term.
Okay, okay,
Not so
got
very
it.
scientific though, but yeah.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so instead of teaching about what you're learning about, you just wanted to change it to more like
Yeah.
a vlog
Yeah,
lifestyle sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, like, I want to do something fun. I don't want it to, even, I was like, for even to make that particular video, I had to study before, and, I was doing the same thing in my part time as well. That was
Yeah.
something I didn't wanted to do. I wanted to have a break. So I was like, I should do something fun rather than just, teaching and studying, teaching and studying. I should have a change. So that's why I changed it to a, daily life kind of a channel,
So
lifestyle kind of.
what is like the you have an idea to post a video. Walk me through like the steps.
Like how I film a video or how I post a video? What are you talking about?
Kind of the whole thing. Like, do you plan? Do you write a script? Do you
Yes, yes. Um, how I have first like to begin with, I have written many topics. Like during the day when I'm like just studying or something, a topic pops up in my mind and I write it down on the notepad, like on my laptop. And then what I do is I select 4 topics per month. Like for example, I have 2 more videos already shot. They are not edited though, for the next upcoming month. So what I'll be doing is I'll be writing the script now for an entire month. The 4 videos, like I post every Saturday. So I'll write the script for the 4 of the videos on one single day or 2 days, because I don't have much time. So I
yeah.
have to categorize time effectively so that I don't miss all my studies as well. So what I do is I write down a script, not like what I'll be speaking, like just the bullet points, what I want to focus about. And yeah, so that's when my script is made and ready. I usually film during the daylight because the video looks nice better. It looks better in daylight. So I usually film on weekends, Saturday or Sunday. And then yeah, I just film it on my phone, on my iPhone, because I don't really have a professional gear for that as of now. And then I edit it on iMovie, and then yeah, I just post it. I make the thumbnail, yeah, because you asked about it. I made a thumbnail on Instagram, like the Instagram
Oh.
story. Yeah, the
Oh.
idea just popped on my mind, and I get the thumbnail pictures from from Pinterest, and I just kind of edit it on Instagram stories, and then yeah, that's how I make my thumbnail.
That's really smart. I didn't even think
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
for
I was just editing my video and it popped in my mind. I was like, okay, fine, I can do this. It's a great
yeah.
idea. Rather than just finding apps to make a thumbnail, it was quite hectic. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll use Instagram stories for that.
Yeah, because I've seen too like YouTubers talking about like how to start a channel and like beginning things, whatever.
Yeah,
And they always sort of emphasize the
on
thumbnail
a
and
thumbnail,
like how to
yes.
get, and to me, like I've dabbled in like making videos here and there. Like my consistency isn't great. And also like my subject matter always changes. But the one
Yeah,
thing, I mean, all of those things are like deterrents to making a successful brand, channel, whatever.
yeah,
But I was like, I
yeah.
cannot do this thumbnail because they like
Mm,
recommend these sites to use, and like some of them you have to
yeah.
whatever, like
It's
the
actually very
sizing.
hectic. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like it
yeah.
seems like it should be like not that difficult, especially for because it looks so like you look at one, you're like, okay, they put a background, they cropped off their face, and then they put in like some
Yeah, I
stickers.
use PixArt for that. You can, I don't know if it's. I think I can take the name of the app, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
cause
yeah,
me
it's fine.
copyright, yeah. So I use PixArt, the cutout tool, to create the sticker, and then
Yeah.
just kind of post it on Instagram. But see, like I was proud of myself when I figured out the way, to make a thumbnail. I was like, okay, this is cool. I'll do it.
Yeah, that's a good hack. That's a good I'm going to
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's a good because your thumbnails look really good too. So I really
yeah.
thought that so like on there, how long does it take you to make one then if you're doing it on your phone?
Uh, the video edit or the thumbnail?
The thumbnail.
The thumbnail, it takes me like I guess 5 minutes, like minimum 5 or 6 minutes. It's not that
Yeah.
difficult. I just go on PixArt. I had already taken the picture I want to, if that's a face cam video.
Yeah.
So I just could like cut out the picture, make a sticker, go there. The time like I do, take like 5 or 6 minutes to find the background on the Pinterest.
Right.
But combined like maximum 10 minutes, but I'm over exaggerating it crazy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it would take a little bit longer looking at them. That's really, really cool. So you um how long is this whole process from like conception, like if you could, I know it kind of goes spans through a few days, but like one video, how many hours do you think you're working on it from like conception of idea to posting?
Oh, I think maximum, I think it will take like 8 to 9 hours, because
Yeah.
writing down the script, for like as of now, I have not struggled with the topic, because when you start a channel, you're extra motivated,
Yeah.
and you get the topics in mind. So I have a lot of written topics, like I can go without thinking a topic for a year. So I have a lot of topics already written down. Yeah. So from the moment I posted my first video, I had like 100 topics on mine already. And of course I was watching other channels, medical related channels for the doctors. So I've had an idea what kind of videos I'll be making. So from like writing down the script, topic selection is not a big problem as of now. Probably when the topics run out, maybe it might be another problem to deal with. But then after I have to write down the script and then move on to filming part. Does take me like an hour for one video, I guess. Like if I talk about the video I posted today, it's like an 8-minute video, but I took like 26 minutes to shoot it. But then
Okay.
of course you have to set up everything, the camera, the light and everything, and then you have to like get ready for it, at least you look good in the video. So it combined, I guess it takes me 8 to 9 hours for one video.
Yeah.
It does. And because editing is also a big hectic process, because
Yeah.
I'm doing it on the phone. I don't really have a professional software, editing software. I'm just using iMovie for that. So yeah, it does take me that long.
Yeah, that seems about right to me too. I think
Yeah.
something that I've, and maybe I haven't seen the right videos on it, but just like every YouTuber or whatever, they're like, okay, you just have to be like dedicated or whatever, but they don't tell you that it
uh,
does take like even for just starting off like 10 hours to make
yeah,
one
that's true,
video,
that's true.
to make it a good one too.
Yeah.
Like I made one video where I like my first YouTube video where I really was like tried to ball out with it, and I was like really excited to
Hmm.
start the channel. But it was like a
Yeah.
10-minute video and it took me like 15 hours to do, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, and it just the time I was surprised by, but it is I think the planning ahead is key, like you're saying.
Yeah,
But
but probably yeah, like if I become fluent with posting videos, like I get like I'm fluent in making thumbnails now. So
yeah.
day by day, with every video, the time is decreasing. So probably as you work for a longer period of time on editing of videos or writing the script, probably it gets a bit easier. But as of now, like when I have started it, it's like probably almost 2 months. It's not 2 months though. It's like a bit like, I guess, 6 weeks as of now. So for me it's like 8 to 9 hours for a video. And like it's like for now I'm using iMovie music. But
Yeah.
like if I have to like search for copyright music, you can find one on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's a hectic process, because on iMovie you cannot like download and uh, post what you add the song.
Yeah.
So it's like it just gets a bit hectic. You have to screen record the entire music or song, whatever you're adding, and then you have to like detach the audio and add it. So it gets hectic,
Yeah.
and it's like it gets overwhelming at times. So yeah.
You do all of it on your phone?
Yeah, everything on my phone.
Wow. What phone do you have? You have an
Yeah.
iPhone?
Yeah, XS Max.
Shout out Apple. Literally.
Sponsor this video.
Yeah.
This podcast.
This podcast, yeah.
This podcast.
That's dope. What are your goals with the, I know you're doing it in your free time, to,
Yeah.
but what do you want to come from this? Or do you have anything
uh,
you want to come from this?
yeah, like as of now, I did start it as of a part time, because it studying every time, and you cannot really have a like. I personally am a big procrastinator, so there are people who do manage to have a social life, but I'm not very good with it. So it's like making videos was something that I can do at my convenience. I can do it whenever I want. I can edit it, I can post it whenever I want. So for as of now, I have started for fun, for to like kind of just give myself a break when I'm very tired or saturated by studying. So for as of now, there is no goal with this channel, but I think, but I hope it grows, because I love to make new acquaintances. So if I come across any, so I'd love to have them.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's a really sweet reason for starting a channel. Uh, you're like, I just want to meet some more people. I feel like everyone. I was expecting you to be like, I'm trying to get some passive income, um,
Yeah,
which would be
but it's
great
like,
too.
yeah, that would be great, but if you are getting an income, you have to be very regular on this.
Yeah.
Like right now, I was in my second year, and most of our classes were online, so it was a bit easier for me to make videos like every week, plan everything, write a script properly. But I'm not really sure if I'll be doing this with the same enthusiasm after a year. But yeah, of course, if it grows, I'll be thinking about, okay, fine, I'll be getting paid, so I should be better, I should invest in some gear. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I hope it. I see good things. Not that it really matters what I see, but um. So I okay. So I just do you said you watch some other medical professionals on YouTube. I don't know
Yeah.
if you do you know about Katie Morton?
No, I don't.
KATI? Okay, um she's like a therapist. I think like she's a psychologist. And they're just she's like on YouTube, makes a lot of like psychology based videos, but she kind of does this thing where she like speaks to YouTubers about their psychology in you're familiar with like Shane Dawson and his like series and stuff like that, like the Jake Paul series, the Jeffree Star series. No?
Okay, no, I am not.
Okay, so do you know who Shane Dawson is?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. So Shane
Yeah.
Dawson, sorry, I shouldn't have assumed. So he's like canceled, but he was basically like he was actually the first YouTuber that I ever watched when I was like in middle
Okay.
school. He was like all the
Oh,
way
cool.
back then. Yeah. And that was the first merch I bought, but now like he's like a
Oh, cool.
yeah, but anyway, so he got canceled recently because he has been really sus and whatever. But he's make these documentaries. They're kind of like literal like YouTube documentaries, just like about a person. So like he did one on like Jake Paul. Um
Oh yeah, I've heard about Jake Paul. My brother Mohammed Ashu, he used to
yeah.
follow him.
Okay.
I'm not much aware of him though, but I've heard of
Okay.
his name. Yeah,
So it's
I guess there
like
was some controversy after, like during those days. I did hear his name.
yeah, I think he's just kind of always stays in and out of controversy, him and his brother.
Okay.
But basically the videos would be like sort of like investigating this one person or like what like there was another girl on it that like had a YouTuber, her name is Eugenia Cooney. She had like an eating disorder and she like went to like a facility. So he kind of like talked to her after the thing and that people thought that like Jake Paul was like a sociopath. So he like talked to him about
Oh,
that sort of stuff. But he would have
okay.
this Katie Horton, I feel like it's Horton here. Anyways, this psychologist on here on his
Hmm.
show who would be like,
Okay.
well, a sociopath is like this, and this, kind of like diagnosing people while on his video, but she's like a licensed professional. Anyway, so there's been like videos and like criticism of her being um, like the most what is it like unprofessional, like irresponsible, like therapists or like psychologists on YouTube because she's
Okay.
like kind of like doling out these um diagnoses, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so just as someone that's in the medical profession, I know you're kind of going a different way with your YouTube channel, but like what
Yeah.
is your opinion about sort of like healthcare on social media or like yeah, like healthcare online, like online healthcare and like giving people through these like social media platforms, not like through like BetterHelp or something like that.
Like you're asking about like healthcare, like advice, or like in general vlogging. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
like
I,
advice.
okay. Okay, that can be a bit problematic to me. I think you know just everybody can come and watch your video, and I think if you don't even have a particular thing, you can assume you have it. So I think it's not really fine. Okay, you can have online consultations. That's something different.
Mhm.
But if you are like vlogging in general, you are reaching out to God knows how many people. So I don't think so. Like giving consultations like just in a random vlog, or just what you think, because it's going out in the general population. So I think it's not really cool. to just talk about it. Yeah, you can talk about very general or basics about like like for educational purposes. But like if you're kind of a vlog, like if you're having a vlogging channel or something like that, and you're randomly talking about it every day, so I think it can influence people in in a wrong direction.
So what? So if someone is like her, who is like a licensed professional psychologist, whatever,
Yeah,
and she like
yeah,
is, kind of saying, being like maybe irresponsible with that sort of
yeah,
information or that title. What if you're
yeah.
someone that isn't a licensed professional or anything, maybe just has like an interest in
Oh,
psychology and then want to
that's
like,
even worse.
yeah.
That's worse. Yeah, that's worse. I mean, a licensed professional, of course, like, okay, if she's saying she's a licensed professional, it's up to you to, accept it. But like, if you are not a licensed professional and you're coming, I think it's like, it's worse. Like, you can, or you can, title your video as an opinion, not a consultation. So, but still, even giving out opinions, can influence people in the wrong way. So, I think one should be very careful with that.
So what, um that's something too that was kind of like on that topic of like giving out your opinion. So like if you're in like you're doing like a vlog kind of like lifestyle channel, um
Yeah.
it's more about capture, and this is just me thinking off top of my head, so tell me if I'm misunderstanding, but like capturing like just literally things that you do in your life, but not really like saying yay or nay to any specific like facts or information, or like you're not
Mhm.
trying to throw any truths out there, if that's am I understanding that
Yeah.
right?
Okay, like if you're like vlogging your daily life and you're saying like what you do in your daily life, yeah, so like okay, that's something anyone and everyone is free to do on the internet. So I think that's okay, unless and until you're promoting it. I think like if you're like vlogging about it, you shouldn't be like, okay, I am, what I'm doing is the best and you should be doing it also. I think everyone and anyone who is on the internet should be responsible for whatever content they are making. Of course, everybody is free to do whatever they want. I cannot talk about that, but whatever you are, if you have a huge public, you're influencing a huge public, you should be responsible for whatever you are giving out to the world.
Hmm. So you are, how do you feel about censorship, just as a topic?
Censorship, yeah, censorship. Okay, yeah, I mean, like, I understand, like, with countries like Pakistan or South Asian countries in general, we are very attached with our customs and traditions. Though I'm not in support of uh, like stopping anyone from expressing themselves. I think it's everyone's right, and internet is the only platform where everyone and anyone is free to express themselves. So I think okay, for like if to maintain your traditions or culture, censorship is fine, like, but in limits. Like, if you are censoring everything every time, it gets problematic. And I think that it's okay to try to protect your culture, but it's not like you are promoting hate against the culture that you don't follow. Or like, censorship to a certain limit is fine. Though I don't support censorship, I'm not supporting censorship in any way. But it's understandable if it is taking place for a certain in certain boundaries. For example, pornography is of course shouldn't be shown to younger children, right? So if it's censored for under 18, so it's something acceptable, everyone will agree to that. But of course, if it's it's above 18, now in Pakistan and South Asian cultures, it's something, it's a taboo. And of course, if you talk about it in a religious way, it is also. So I think it's though it's everyone's opinion and everyone's choice to do whatever they want if when they are adults. So but I think censorship in certain limitations is fine, but I don't think you should be stopping someone from expressing themselves on internet especially.
So in terms of preserving a culture, so
Yeah.
you made that distinction between like preserving a culture versus negating, or like putting down another culture, in terms of,
No.
right? Like
No,
there's a
of course not.
difference. Right. So there's a
Yeah,
difference
yeah.
between,
There's
so
see, there's a very thin boundary between the two aspects.
right.
You should always be going towards something that's neutral. Like unless and until you are bound to pick sides. But I think you should be going neutral. Now, for example, if you are believing in a certain thing, it's not necessary that you should talk bad about the other culture or other tradition or other religion, whatever in general. So I think stick to what you believe in, but don't push others to believe what you believe.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so with censorship in Pakistan, because like you're saying, Pakistan and other South Asian cultures, they're much more like they're collectivist cultures, much more traditional versus like Western culture, and
Yeah,
especially like in America where there's not really
yeah.
like, um, so I was looking in April, there was recently like a temporary censorship block for like a period of time in Pakistan on
TikTok.
um, it was on. So I saw it was on WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok,
No,
Instagram.
no,
And
no.
it
It
was just
wasn't
on
on.
TikTok.
No, no. It was just on TikTok. And there's this video game. Probably you are familiar of. It's called PUBG. It's similar to Fortnite.
Okay.
So yeah, it was actually like even my brother, he's like crazy about Fortnite, about PUBG, and like many children were like wasting their times watching, playing PUBG and all that. So there was a temporary ban on that. It goes on and off, even on TikTok due to immoral content. But I think that like even our science minister, Fawad Chaudhry, he tweeted about it, and he said that if you have like a 3 or 4% of immoral content or something, like if that goes against our cultural or traditional or religious boundary, guidelines or whatever. So I think for about 3 or 4% of content that you don't support, you cannot ban an entire application. And I think these applications like YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, and all, they bring in revenue. And moreover, in Pakistan especially, Pakistan has been a very underrepresented, highly stereotyped country, not just by West, even by its neighbors, especially India and places like that. So Pakistan, via social media, tourism. If I talk about tourism, in 2020, like I'm talking about the COVID times, uh, tourism in Pakistan was boosted about 300% because of it, because of social media awareness. So I think social media has played a very positive role in bringing out the true image of Pakistan, to the West, to different countries, who are stereotyping Pakistan. So I think banning culture is I don't support banning culture at all. May it be any application. I think any application, like for 3 or 4% of content that you don't support. Internet is all about free expressing, and I think you cannot control everything on social media. You can probably control anything in your home or in your country even, but you cannot on social media. And I think I'm strongly against application ban, though right now everything is unbanned, both TikTok and PUBG. But I think it's just ridiculous banning applications, because you think the content it has on it is not right or something. Every social media application has its cons and pros. We should focus on the pros. And the biggest pros that social media has given to Pakistan is its is the developing image of Pakistan on the and on the world, on the globe in general. So I think banning culture is doesn't really make sense, and it should be avoided, and it should be protested against.
In terms of so like okay, let's go back to the PUBG ban. So PUBG is like Fortnite. Was it banned because too many people? So was the game banned?
Yeah,
The game
yeah,
was
it was
banned.
banned. Yeah, because it's available on App Store. It's a mobile game. Though
Okay.
people, it's also available on PC, but the most played version was on the phone. So it was basically banned because many people, many parents really complained in the Sindh High Court that their children weren't studying, and they were playing on the phone all day. So they ended up banning it for for a limited period of time. And I guess it has happened like twice or thrice, but like it lasts for a month or so, and it's again unbanned. So currently it's not it's unbanned in Pakistan.
Okay. So that's the reason it was banned. It wasn't necessarily banned for
Yeah.
like the content, just because it
No,
was
no, there was like there wasn't any content like that. It was just a game.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't think so it was banned for the content was banned because parents complained, and there were lawyers advocating that it's destroying the future of children. They are not studying at all. It was quarantine as well, so they weren't studying at all. So parents were concerned that
Yeah.
the children weren't studying. So that was the reason it was banned.
Interesting. Okay. So um hmm. So I feel like it's such like a boomer thing to whatever say, but it's like you're like the future of the world, the kids right now are so plugged in and like spend so much time just like on the internet and like what on whatever
Yeah,
like on social media. And it's something that I
yeah,
think about too, and just is like what is it doing to their brains? Is it positive? Is it negative? Like all this different stuff. But it feels like is government or is like a higher authority should a higher authority come in and kind of like infiltrate that sort of space or like take control over it? There are to like some so, like there's like kids content and like things like that. There's like small bands that like individual owners can put on their platforms or their profiles, and like YouTube can, you know what I mean, that sort of stuff to protect children. But it's like I don't know, like, are they the vulnerable party that should be protected, or is that like an issue of like free expression and like free use of the internet?
what I can what I can tell is that yeah, free expression does come, and again the same thing. It's the game which was banned, PUBG. It was creating revenue as well in Pakistan. There were many gamers online. There are famous YouTubers as Lucky Bhai, and famous YouTubers, gaming gamers in Pakistan. So it was also creating revenue. So this part, revenue creation and image portraying, this hinders when you ban stuff in your country, which is
Yeah.
like of course it was the thing should be considered, that it was affecting children, they weren't studying, but it's more of kind of a personal matter. Not all children do that. Many children opt for studying. Also like the Pakistani parents, they're kind of old school. They don't know that there are futures which can be built on gaming as well. They don't understand that. There are kids, they're talking like we will become a gamer or something, but they their parents are like, no, you're supposed to be a doctor, you're supposed to be an engineer. So that's something that goes with the mindset of the old school mindset of Pakistani parents.
Yeah.
That's about it basically. So our parents are the generation, like the old generation, they still struggle with understanding the millennial mindset. But I guess it's time, and I think it should be it will be changed over time, I believe so.
So you think it should fall more to, because it's interesting that like I totally agree, like older generations have a difficult time with the
Yeah,
jobs. Like I heard even when I was like younger in like high school, they were like you're going to be the jobs that you're going to try to get like don't even exist now. And I feel like that's just like something that's apparent for every generation below us. But
yeah,
so besides that sort of like at home
management,
struggle,
yeah,
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 you think that it should be like, it's interesting that like that sort of complaining, instead of being restricted by a parent, even though I'm sure not to, they tried or didn't try, not trying to like put it on there, but that it became like a like a government, like a ban, like a ban
yeah,
from for the entire game and for the entire population. So it's the it seems like in that like the larger the responsibility of the masses, the
yeah,
responsibility to the masses is to protect them from themselves,
yeah.
from their own
Y-
vices.
yeah. See, the thing is, our children in Pakistan here, there's this thing called time management, which is not being taught. So it is, of course, this is something that should be taught at schools or home. But
Right.
like going to a court to ban an app is something that doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. And the government of Pakistan also did realize it later that yeah, it's not making sense, so let's just unban it. So I think these are some problems, related with the South Asian mindset. And I think it's just more cultural related. these mindsets, they are, these thinkings are embedded. And I think, yeah, their priorities lies elsewhere, where like rather they should be, concerned about other things. So yeah, I know it's a bit problematic, but yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. No, I was just it's an interesting stance, and it's like something that I feel like
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
America,
like you, yeah,
I mean, just
yeah,
like,
you won't hear it something like in this. Yeah.
yeah, but it's also something that I feel like some people would like advocate for as well in the US. Like it's
Yeah.
similar to like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like up there, like drinking and smoking is legal, but they're like
Yeah.
very obvious, like bad for you and your body, but they're legal. And like I
Yeah.
think some people, whatever. It's a similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, like there should be regulating authorities. Like it should be taught at school. You shouldn't be like in general. Okay, gaming, you can have a future in it, but the thing is, like using excessive phones and social media, it does have an effect on your mind and your brain, right? It does affect your sleep wake pattern, and just depression. It's also linked with depression and other anxiety disorders. So of course, use of social media, use of games, using mobile phones, everything should be limited. But this is not something that a court should be banning an app. Rather it doesn't even have an impact on the
Hmm.
generation. It's like they become more rebellious. They'll be using
Right.
VPNs and they'll be using it. So the thing is that at homes and at schools, it should be taught how to manage things. When like everything should be done at an appropriate time and for an appropriate time.
Hmm.
So this is more an issue related to upbringing, and parenting, rather than just going to the courts and banning an app.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally see what you're saying. I think
Yeah.
so so like, how does it work from how have you seen how like social media or internet culture, because it's like what YouTube was recently, as an app, as a platform, unbanned from Pakistan, right?
No,
um
it's like not recently. It was like,
it was like a few years
uh,
ago.
yeah, it was like I guess 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That 5 years ago, YouTube was banned in Pakistan. But I was like, I wasn't living in Pakistan back then.
Yeah.
Like the year I moved to Pakistan, it was, I guess, was 2017,
Hmm.
and back then YouTube was recently unbanned from Pakistan.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
have you noticed any sort of like cultural, I guess you weren't in Pakistan before then, but just like a cultural change due to like social media being available? Like is there more, I don't know, like is there any like Western influence or social media influence? I feel like I've seen it like the other way, definitely like more like,
Yeah.
based with like all these other countries that having internet use and people being able to be on these platforms, you see a lot more of different cultures.
Yeah.
Have you what's your experience with that?
Yeah, of course. I think when internet, yeah, people are connected over the internet, the world has become a global village. So of course influences come from both the side. Now, as I talked earlier, about that, Pakistan was a stereotype, but now the tourism has increased last year to 300%, and it was majorly because of Pakistani travel bloggers, and also other travel bloggers, international bloggers, coming and filming in Pakistan. There are many famous ones. I really can't remember the name, but similar things happen in Pakistan as well. Now, Pakistan greatly, has great influence from India, from the West, of course, America, everywhere. So it goes either ways. Anyone who is watching from Pakistan will get influenced by whatever content from wherever they are seeing, and it goes vice versa. So yeah, of course, there are impacts. In sense of fashion trends, also technology, teaching methodologies. A lot of things get influenced. It's true.
Are there any specifics that come to mind? It froze. I don't know if you can hear me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Your face is frozen, but I heard you say that.
There's some problem
Oh,
with the
okay.
internet. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened.
That's
I guess
okay.
it was some internet problem. Yeah.
Uh, um so have you, I was asking if you've noticed any, if there are any specific examples that you can say that like changes in Pakistan that you could maybe link back to like the internet or social media and like Pakistani
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, I can think, especially if I talk about YouTube, right? Now, if you can have my example. I was heavily influenced from Ali Abdal and Karma Medic. These guys are doctors or medic. I think Karma Medic is still a medical student. Ali Abdal is a doctor. So many students I know from my university and all, they have been greatly influenced by these people, and they have started their own YouTube channel. Also, if we talk about studies, online studies, we use YouTube pretty much. For everything, for example, if we talk about Ninja Nerd, he's a guy from US. I guess he's from Texas, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, so like,
What's the name?
Ninja Nerd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, his teaching methodologies have been, very famous in Pakistan, and probably, I guess, in other South Asian countries as well. People get influenced, they make their own channel. I guess similar examples can be found in fashion, of course. The South Asian fashion, is very similar. So, if we see anything from the, online on a show, a web show, or, a film from India. So, the fashion trends, we greatly get influenced by the Indian fashion. Similarly, goes from Pakistan. The Pakistani fashion is, very famous in India as well as in Bangladesh. So I think, yeah, influences are, and yeah, I mean, like I can find instances as such, in Pakistan.
So that's sort of, I mean, those three countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, are like all right next to
Yeah,
each other. So that sort of
yeah,
influence
yeah,
is probably has been there, I'm sure for
yeah,
years. But you've seen
yeah.
it, or maybe like you've seen it like maximized or even just like visualized through like the internet and social media because it's just so easy to kind of like
So
take in that sort of information from these areas.
yeah, of course, it's maximized, of course. Though I think from India, especially because it's a huge market, their film industry and everything. So the perspective of India was already, perceived by the Pakistani, uh, Pakistani population. But the Pakistani representation wasn't, enough or fair, I would say, in India. It was highly stereotyped. Now after this web series thing, India has this famous web series platform called Z5, and they are streaming many Pakistani shows on there. And recently one show was also launched. So now the Pakistani perspective is also being shown, to the masses in India, which were highly, they were, very like under propaganda, and they were stereotyping Pakistan. So I think internet influence, it helps to connect people and show the fair image, like in reality whatever the thing is going on, rather than just propaganda. So of course social media can be used to spread propaganda, and also can be used to counter it. So if we talk about politics, or just culture, traditions, everything is conveyed and it's maximized. And I think, though if we like, probably if it's not even that maximized from India's perspective, but from Pakistan, the Pakistani perspective is highly maximized, not just to India, but really the entire world. Especially when I was, as I talked about tourism, and I saw like many, foreign bloggers, coming to Pakistan, and they've been, posting videos online. So, yeah, I think influence does increase. The influence spreads as well as it gets maximized. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that's interesting with the travel vlogs in Pakistan. I actually
Yeah.
met um one of my mom's college friends. Their daughter is like a Pakistan. Do you know like Anusha something? Her name is Khan, Anusha
Anusha
Khan.
Ashraf? Anusha Ashraf?
I think so. She's shorter. She has like straight hair. She travels. She recently got married like a year or two ago.
I think I might be knowing her. There are like a couple of Anushas I know.
Okay. So she has like a YouTube channel and
Okay.
she's like a travel vlogger though as well. And it's really I was looking through her page, she's like 100,000 subscribers and like
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting how sort of like modern and contemporary her
Uh-huh.
channel and her videos are, even for like how you were saying, kind of like painting this new image of
Yeah.
Pakistan and like bringing it into like the modern world where it definitely
Yeah.
is so like stigmatized, and like just really any third world
Yeah.
country is just looked
Yeah.
at like um and some of the videos that I feel like that go viral from these other countries are always videos that are, or not always, but sometimes are videos that like emphasize that they're in like a third world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They're
I
not,
understand.
yeah. So I don't know. That was just it's interesting, especially with YouTube, just I mean that's pretty recent, like 5 years, for this
Yeah,
huge like platform, um,
yeah,
and it's really, I feel like my mom watches YouTube now too for like Pakistani
yeah.
cooks, and like I know like a whole bunch of aunties that are trying to
Ah,
become
yeah.
like
True that.
YouTubers and like make food on
True
YouTube.
that. True
Um,
that.
so I don't know, that's just interesting that it's like painting itself a whole new image. And so like with the revenue,
Yeah.
I feel like that's something really important too, because something just with like in other third world countries in general that's frustrating to me is that there's a lot of I guess just more particular like in fashion, just like the amount of people that like export labor
Ah,
to these
yeah,
countries
yeah.
and pay them so little, and it's just like the revenue,
Yes.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dry. Do you think just like, what do you think, like, in terms of, like, social media influencers and that? Do you really think that that'll help revenue-wise, like, create help build up the economy? Of course, this is just, like, thought experiment,
Social
Yeah.
social media influencers from Pakistan or the Western ones promoting Pakistan?
I was thinking the first, but I guess either or.
Yeah, of course. See, like Pakistani influencers, of course, the like for example, if I talk about first, we'll talk about the Pakistani influencers. They don't only send out a message to the West, or just any other country, not just the West, of course, any other country, who stereotype Pakistan, but they also convey a message to the Pakistani youth itself. Now, for example, if we were talking about the travel bloggers, you talked about Anushe something. Uh, there are other vloggers like Yufano and Muru. There's one called Irfan Junejo. If you watch their videos, they look like a Netflix documentary. But the thing is, like they are very underrated, and Pakistan doesn't really have that influence, so that they can come on a greater platform. So, but the thing is, these people are leaving a mark, and the youth is watching them. Pakistani youth is watching them. So, like gradually, they're going to create more vloggers, or podcast makers. Moore is also, he also goes for with podcasts. So it influences the Pakistani youth in general and tells what's out there on the social media world, what more you can do. And when you talk about the international influencers, if they are talking about like as I talked about the international bloggers, that many came to Pakistan, and they were posting videos, millions of views on YouTube. So of course, this creates, as I talked about tourism. Now, tourism is not just about creating revenue. It For a country like Pakistan, it is very much about showing the positive side of Pakistan, and helping people to express themselves. Now, many people, the vloggers, if you watch their videos, it say that Pakistan is a very hospitable country and stuff like that. So the reason why Pakistani people are very hospitable is, of course, our culture and religion and tradition. Everything brings down. Pakistan is not just one religion; it's like several religions, like Hinduism, Sikhism, and also some tribal religions. But every religion has this one thing in common, that everyone is very hospitable and loving and welcoming. The reason is that these communities, Pakistanis in general, were very deprived of international love and care and support. Like for example, if you talk about any other country, for example, if you talk about India, they are they are highly encouraged nation. They are well talked about in the West as well. So when a Pakistani, feels, underrepresented, or they feel deprived, that they are not being well represented. Whenever they are talked about, they're talked in a negative manner. So that's also the reason why when you come to Pakistan, you go explore the northern sides, or really any rural area, or somewhere you interact with the common men. They'd be welcoming. They would be like, they'll be wanting to show you around. They'll be wanting to make everything about their place, their country, their village, or whatever in general. So that's the reason why, and I think that's the reason why Pakistani people are very welcoming. So social media is one of the platforms that has helped Pakistan in that regard.
I love that it's really that pushing that sort of like a cultural value is so different than, I mean, it's it's a really great thing to push versus like a style or like an aesthetic or like something like that. Like especially with, like you're saying, just like a population of people that have not been like accessed before or like
Yeah,
been, you know,
true.
like
They're
um
not discovered really.
yeah, and just sort of like not really, like no one really wanting to either, like
Yeah,
both ways. I feel like there's just sort of like this
hesitation or something. Yeah.
yeah. And so like with the, do you feel like the youth of Pakistan now, like is there obviously every generation has like a different, you know, values and different um you know, whatever, but do you feel like the youth of Pakistan is like really different than their prior generation because of social media, because they're able to sort of combat the othering that happens to them and be able to actually take more of a an active role in their country in like a completely different way, like not necessarily government wise if they can't, you know, I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, what is that, what is it like what, well, how do you feel like the youth is defined there?
See, the youth in Pakistan, like the population of Pakistan, about 60 plus 60 or 65 percentage of Pakistani population is based on people who are under 30. So
Okay.
Pakistan has this great, population of young generation. Now, of course, I won't say they're completely different. The thing is they're trying to understand and incorporate, the Western values or in general any values, like they are more welcoming, they're more understanding, because of course, the the older generation, they have everything in their mind, they have fixed their stances on things, so it gets difficult to change their minds. But the youth of Pakistan awaits opportunities, and they want to be discovered. If you give them an opportunity to come and express themselves, they'll be ready to take it, because they're hardworking, they do want to contribute to their country, and they also do want to contribute to the general humanity. They want to come out, they want to express themselves, they need platforms, they need opportunities, and they're more understanding, yes. And of course social media, like, even of course I can say that even in West, your generation and the generation before you will be a bit different. Every generation is.
Right.
So of course Pakistani generation is also a more like towards the modern side, but it's not like they are completely different. There are like it's a combination. There are super liberal people, there are conservatives, they are neutral. So there are different kinds of people. But the thing is that Pakistani youth, in general, the thing that is common, in the entire youth, is that they await chances, and they are willing to take them and come out in the world and express themselves.
Yeah, so they've got this like go-getter attitude.
Yeah, of course. They want to. They're like, why should we be why should we reach a certain standard to only be called qualified or something? We can create our own standards. We can show to the world like what our specialities are. So that's the mindset of Pakistani youth. Is they're willing to collaborate with anything related to tech, technology, education, science. But the thing is, we lack resources, we lack representation, we lack platforms and opportunities, being a stereotype nation for a very long time. So
Yeah.
yeah, Pakistani youth does await that opportunity, and they're willing to work with different mindsets. They are willing to work with diversity, with different people.
It's, and it seems like based on what you were saying, kind of like who you watch on YouTube, a lot of the like diff Pakistani influencers, social media, whatever, people on Pakistani people on social media off like do like to collaborate with other Pakistani on people on social media. I don't want to call everyone like an influencer, but like like instead of just like one country just like watching, like if they only watched like YouTubers in the UK or like something like that, but it's like
Okay.
you're like adding to each other's like social capital.
Yeah,
Yeah, like so it's
yeah,
not,
yeah. You're
yeah.
right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, that's fine. I was saying that yes, of course. As I said, that influences go on either side, and
Right,
it's not. I wasn't just talking about on YouTube. I was just talking, like, I was talking in general. That
right.
like they are willing to talk, and like there are certain people, from the older generations, they don't want to debate, they don't want to talk about different aspects, but the Pakistani youth is willing to debate, is willing to talk, so that, not just on YouTube, I'm just talking in general,
Right.
in any field or in any, opportunity they might have or they might get, that they want to understand the other nations. So because they know that, understanding other people is also telling others what you are like. So talking, debate, dialogue is something everyone here are willing to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really promising.
Yeah.
And like such a it's I feel like a lot of times on this podcast I've talked to people about social media in sort of a skeptical lens.
Hmm.
Everyone's
Okay.
just like, everyone's just a little bit like, it's just like the thought of like the unknown. No one really knows how it's like we were saying, like affecting our minds and this and that and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like focus on the addiction part. But it is so true like how much it can really help, like a literal the literal like quality of life, physical status of
Yeah.
a country. um
True.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I feel like it just even speaks larger to like the individualist versus like collectivist mindset. Like a lot of the people that I've spoken to thus far like live in the US, and
Mm-hmm.
so of course we're all just so like individualistic here. Everyone's so like we're
Yeah.
like, oh, like I spend too much time on this, or it makes me feel bad, or it makes me do this, that, whatever. But speaking to you, and you're in Pakistan, and it's such a collectivist country, and like it so values the people
Yeah.
and like the body, or like like the collective body. And obviously you guys feel like the same sort of, probably everyone probably has a similar sort of addictive relationship with this tech, because it's all like similar tech and we're all human beings, so we have probably similar side effects from it. But you're so focused on the positive, like larger outlooks and the larger
Yeah.
outcomes from this sort of like literal connective technology, that it's really refreshing to hear, actually. Very like
Yeah.
um
Yeah, like by what I said, like it doesn't mean that Pakistan lacks diverse minds.
right.
It's like, our values, they do collide, coming from any religion, any ethnicity, they do collide, and they come together, they form new things, or they become a homogeneous mixture of thoughts and values. Everybody thinks individually, yes. Everybody may have difference of opinions, but representing your country, because we have been very under represented, this thing is something that we all stand together on, that we have to do better, we have to express ourselves online. And I think social media has helped Pakistan in that regard too, because I know many people talk about the bad side of social media. It does have, but I think if you start, because I believe that social media is inevitable. Like if you can avoid it today, you must be facing it tomorrow. If you
Right.
are avoiding it your entire life, your children will have to have to face it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to get more progressive, and it's just going to diversify. So I think that learning to work with social media, manage it, is the key, rather than running away from it. So that's the reason why I emphasize on the importance of social media, and the importance of social media in Pakistan in general, because I think it is the only thing, because of course media is biased, history is biased, every country, every region has its own biased version of everything. So
Mm-hmm.
even Pakistan will have it. I'm not just
Right.
criticizing any other country. So the thing is, social media is the platform which gives you a fair representation of everything. You are The thing is in front of you, you can judge it as you want, you can interpret it like the way you want. So Pakistan, I personally believe, can use this tool to express themselves, bring more opportunities to the nation, and I think this is something where all minds will come together, and they just they stand, they have this particular same stand on this topic when you talk about it, representing Pakistan.
So going back to when you're saying kind of the users are open-minded, and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was the I guess like trend on social media, and maybe just in popular culture as well, of like people being very cautious about what they're saying, not wanting to offend anyone, cancel culture, etc., etc., sort of like this self-censorship that is occurring by due to like fear of like basically I don't know, like online excommunication and like mass excommunication. Do you feel that that's something have you experienced something similar in Pakistan where people are afraid to like maybe they're interested in having a conversation, but they're afraid to say something that could insult someone else or upset someone else, and that creates any like limits on like how much you can go? Or do you find that there's a lot more, I guess, like empathy and understanding in a way that they're not, that's a little bit, that's not so inhibited by these you know.
See, see, when I talked about it, I like talk, about the general population. Now you can
Right,
have, you can have people who have great empathy. They don't talk about anything. They are
right.
like, okay, we respect everyone. We don't want to talk about anything. And there are people who are like, extremists, or they'll be talking about, ban this, stop this. So every nation has its right and left wings. What I feel is Pakistani, population, the youth especially, is going more towards neutrality. They're not picking up sides, though of course they are. But if I like what I am seeing right now is Pakistani youth is more neutral, and rather than picking the right and left sides, they're talking about neutrality. So that's the thing about it. But of course, every country, every nation has its diversities with different thoughts of people coming together. But when you talk about the masses, they are more welcoming. They are more hospitable in general, and they opt for neutrality. They don't want to talk about, it's not about like me and you discussing a particular topic and you and me taking sides. It's about, let's not talk about it, let's talk about the similarities. So that's what kind of Pakistani population is. Not just the youth. When I talk about neutrality, it's also very common in the older generations, that they don't want to talk about things that will create a divide. But of course there are people who are creating a divide, on the right side as well as the left wing. So yeah.
So do you find that against, so not talking about things that will create a divide versus talking about things that create a divide to end a divide, do you find that it's
Huh.
more one or the other?
Yeah, I think if you can opt for talking about differences to finish them, to
Right.
end them, you can only do it if you think you have the ability to adjust, and you have the ability to accept differences and come on a negotiating table. But if
Mhm.
you think you are stubborn, and if you're going into a debate thinking that you will make the other understand what you believe, then you're never going to end the divide. You are just going to increase it. So if you think yourself capable enough that you can talk through the debate, or you can come on a negotiating table, you are ready to talk about certain things, you are ready to change your thought process, is only when you can go and talk about it. If you believe you are stubborn enough, it's better not to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You coming, I feel like that's people coming to the table to like have a conversation about something. I feel like a lot of it too is like, okay, I'm going to defend my point and
Yeah,
hopefully try to
exactly.
make the other, but you're right, like I totally agree with you. If you, the only way to actually have like a fruitful conversation is if you come with the mindset that like you with like the preparation that you might change your mind.
Yeah,
And no,
exactly.
yeah, like that has to be sort of like you, because you're right, you can't convince someone of something, of like you really can't convince anyone of anything if they're not receptive to it.
True. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. That's so I, yeah, actually I find that that's an interesting thing to just then avoid if you just know that's not going to, because it's not going to
Yeah, like
amount
if
to
you know you are
anything.
not going to change, you are going into a debate thinking that, okay, fine, I'll make this a girl or a boy or whatever, I'll make this person, I'll push my thoughts, my thought process onto them, or I'll make them understand that I am on the right side. Then you're never going to end the differences. They're only going to this might probably create more differences. So it's better not to talk about if you think you are too stubborn to change.
And it's the, I mean, I feel like that applies to like all different sorts of binaries or sides, and you always see that sort of like clash that's always met with like hostility on both sides. It's like two rhinos butting heads for like no reason, seemingly. Like
Yeah,
I feel like that's why I see like a lot of, on maybe not like a lot of, because but I see it on social media, if like someone posts something and there's like two opposing sides, it's always like the same
yeah,
argument over and over again, and it's just like someone trying to say this is right or this is wrong and someone else countering it, and there's no sort
yeah.
of like, you already, some, for some things you just know there's going to be one side or the other. Um, and like,
Yeah,
that's just what it's going to be. Like, there's not necessarily, you're right. There might be some people willing to kind of figure out the middle ground or like play devil's advocate,
yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah, that's the reason why finding neutrality between two extremes is very difficult, but it is very important. Especially when you're on social media, when you don't have a face-to-face, conversation with someone, you're probably fighting with someone on comments under a post. So
yeah,
it's very difficult to even put your point on the table, and it's also difficult to kind of bring the other one to understand your point of view, or come on a negotiating table. Also, it becomes difficult for a third party to come in and sort out
yeah,
a problem, because under a post on the comments, like, people are not going, the stubborn one will not come on a negotiating table ever. So finding a third party, that will be a random person again. That third party won't be knowing the other two sides as well, so that he can understand the two perspectives and bring them on the table. They're like, okay, fine, stop. And so it's like, this is con of social media, that you cannot really end a debate unless and until you're having a video call or something, seminar, online seminar or something, where you're discussing things. And like on chat or something, that's very difficult, even for a third party to intervene and sort
yeah,
things out.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem.
Have you found with the youth of or like your generation and like in Pakistan, the um the sort of battle, or I don't know if battle is the right word, but the will to like present themselves as Pakistani and also as who they are, has there been any sort of like difficulty, because like we were saying earlier, it's like a stereotype country and there's these things that you're kind of inherently fighting from just being Pakistani, and then it's like, I guess it can apply to a lot of different countries too, but um have you seen like when people presenting themselves online in their own social media in Pakistan that they're kind of fighting this fighting against something, or do you think,
Yeah, yeah.
or like they're, do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm having a hard time
Yes, I got your
articulating.
point. I got your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, there are people who go out of the line expressing themselves online. Like, for example, I'm not really sure if you know what ICC is. It's the International Cricket Council. If you go on their Instagram page, there are always Pakistanis and Indians fighting under the posts, of cricketers. Pakistanis abusing the Indian cricketers, Indians abusing the Pakistani cricketers, even if those cricketers are, great players. So the Pakistanis will not be ready to accept that they are great players. The Indians won't be ready to accept that this Pakistani player is a great player. So you can they can talk about it in a positive way. They can appreciate each other's sides, but what they end up is they end up fighting and abusing each other. So cussing each other under the post. So that's a very it is a kind of a funny thing to go and read those comments. People are like fighting all the time under those posts. I think, yes, of course, the intention behind doing all this is representing their side, but they just opt the wrong way, and they just go out of the line doing things. So yeah, there are certain instances, you can always go, and especially where there's a India Pakistan rivalry, it's sure to happen. Any post uh, that is criticizing Pakistan will have Indian support, or any post criticizing India will have Pakistani support. So that's a hustle that has been alive, and it will be, because not everyone will go on the same way, though their intention is similar. They want to promote Pakistan. They're like, okay, this player from Pakistan is a great player, accept it. But this is a South Asian mindset. So they'll be like, there are people who, not just South Asian, I'd say, it's I think it's stereotyping. It's in general that there are some people who feel they can come up by putting others down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there like I guess so okay, so I mean, obviously, but like I'm Pakistani, but I'm American born Pakistani. So
Yeah,
um in terms of, there's like the stereotypes of just being like an immigrant and then being a Pakistani immigrant and then being a Muslim
yeah,
Pakistani and then just all those sorts of things, the layers in the
yeah,
US kind of like inbreeds this like there's like this underlying like xenophobia that often is internalized, I think, and I've definitely
Yeah,
experienced
yeah,
sort of internalization. Um, and so I am wondering if, like, for me, for a long time, this sort of, I had um a desire and also like an assimilation, right? Like it's like beneficial to be assimilated. It's like a pro, even in like Pakistani communities here, they're like, oh, like the more assimilated they are, the more you are, the like higher they, whatever. Um, and I didn't recently, and then it wasn't until pretty recently that I was just sort of like kind of going back to my culture and like, because in Pakistan, it's interesting with Pakistan and like Islam, they're like an Islamic culture, but like Pakistani culture is also Pakistani culture, and there's like
yeah,
separations, but um,
yeah.
so recently I've just been kind of going back and finding like actually sort of trying to accept it and like be more like Pakistani and like kind of embrace that
Hmm.
part of me and like that
Yeah,
style and all that sort of stuff. So I'm wondering if like I've just had that sort of like inherent, I guess, or like internal battle with
yeah.
that stereotype of Pakistani.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so have you had is how is it like in Pakistan? Like, is there a lot of like, is there pride? Is there a lot of Pakistani pride in people? Are they like proud?
Yeah, you mean a patriotic? Yeah,
Yeah,
you're asking that. Yeah,
yeah,
of course, Pakistani people are patriotic. Yeah, I mean, like even if they'll have their differences, everybody will come out. Independence Day is like, to be very honest, Eid and Ramadan, and they are under celebrated, and the Independence Day and the Republic Day. They are like, people are going crazy on the roads. They are wearing this green and white flag, and wearing the costumes, with Pakistani flags on it. The children, and they are, with they are like driving by on the highways with songs and everything. So it's like it's celebrated. So uh, even like on Independence Day is something that should be witnessed in Pakistan. I remember my first Independence Day. I was so excited when we were here for like Zuhaib Mamu's wedding, nikah. So that
hmm,
was the very first time, I guess, we were here for, and it was like on 14th August. Was the first time we witnessed here in Pakistan. So we like it was so crazy. Like we were seeing people enjoying, and it was so much fun. So yeah, Pakistani people are die hard patriotic, and even no matter what differences, they'll be crying on the roads, saying, if you just go on a random day, oh my god, there's so much inflation, we have this problem, we have that problem. But on Independence Day, everybody come, even if they are the poorest of people, the richest of people, they all come together, and they're celebrating it on the roads. There are traffic jams, there are full-on parties going by. So Pakistani people are diehard patriotic, and it's something in our blood. It gives us goosebumps when we talk about Pakistan. It's a like inherent pride. I'd say that we have inherited. I don't know. It's something genetic or something that
yeah.
patriotism has been passed on from our ancestors.
Because you also didn't grow up in Pakistan.
Yeah.
You grew up in Saudi Arabia and then you moved
Hmm.
there recently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you had the sort of experience, you had that similar experience being, like in another culture living in, or from another culture living in another
I've
country.
yeah similar.
Yeah.
Not just that. Also, I've had an experience of that stereotyping, similar like you did. So yeah, please go on with
Yeah,
your
no,
question.
I mean, I just so when you still felt it though, I guess is what I'm saying. Like when you were there, you felt like, did you feel something different because you had been like, was it a little different since you had been disconnected, like physically disconnected from it? Was it like
Yeah,
this sort of like coming home sort of feeling, or was it strange, or I don't know. Tell me how you
like
felt.
the feeling when I moved to Pakistan.
Yeah, and kind of like
Uh-huh.
experiencing that Independent Day
Yeah.
and sort of like, did you have that sort of, were you proud to be Pakistani before when you lived in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia?
So no, I wasn't a proud Pakistani before, especially when I studied in an Indian school. It was like an Indian controlled, the Indian controlled curriculum school. So over there I faced heavy bullying for being a Pakistani. There weren't many Pakistani girls around. It was an all girls school.
Mhm.
So like there were like four Pakistani girls in the entire sixth grade or something. So there was intense bullying, and that it also resulted in me changing myself to another school. My parents took me out from there, and they put me in a Pakistani school. They were like, you better be with people who are like you. So I wasn't a proud Pakistani. I remember, to avoid bullying, I used to tell my friends, who are my very initial friends. I used to call them best friends. And I used to like in order to avoid bullying, I used to say, no, I'm from India, I'm from Delhi. I used to say that. So at that time, I didn't realize what I was doing. But when I grew up, and when my father moved me to a Pakistani school, it was a bit far away. But my father was like, no, you better go there. It's better you get connected with people like you. So when I went there, that is when I realized, that okay, being Pakistani is not problematic. The problem was with them, the people. Our school literally, separated the Indians and the non-Indians to different sections. So it was actually very, it was like
It's like
another level of
sanctioned.
bullying. Yeah,
Yeah.
like sanction. Yeah. And we had like all those girls, all my friends were Indians. Mostly they were Egyptians, and other nationalities, but majority of them were Indians. So it was like, it was absurd, when I came from into sixth standard, they separated the sections of non-Indians and Indians. So it was quite absurd, and my father noticed that it was not right. So he moved back then. I didn't understand it, but then when I moved to like Pakistani school, and I guess it was seventh grade, and that was the time when, if you remember, that that army public school incident in Pakistan, Peshawar, took place, where I guess 160 children were killed, in a terrorist attack, if you remember
Mm.
about it. So that was the feeling. That was the very first time, when I saw on the news about, okay, Pakistan, these children were killed and all that. But then I also heard interviews of the children who survived, and the children who were enthusiastic to take admission in that school, because they said that they weren't afraid of Taliban, and that they were willing to die for their country. They're not afraid. They'll be still pursuing education. They won't stop us from gaining education and all that. So I was like, what is it about Pakistan, that people are going crazy about it? So that was the very first instant where I finally accepted my Pakistani nationality, because though I was born in Saudi Arabia, there is no process of giving nationality to non-Arabs. Not even non-Arabs, legit any other Arab born in Saudi Arabia is not even given nationality. So that was the time when I accepted, okay, finally I am a Pakistani, so I should accept it. I shouldn't be lying around, that I'm an Indian. I literally used to lie to my friends and my teachers that I'm an Indian, and I used to refuse that I'm a Pakistani, to avoid bullying, and to avoid that, kind of stereotyping. So I find that the APS incident was the first time, I was moved by what those children on the news were saying. I was like, my God, why are they mad? What is it in Pakistan that they don't care? The Taliban are coming and killing them, and they still want to pursue education. They were willing to take admission in that school in Peshawar. So even from that time, when I decided that if I move to Pakistan, I'll be taking admission in public school. So, but that was in Peshawar. But then after like 2 or 3 years, I asked my father, wanted to move to Pakistan. Though it was in plans that, of course, I'll be pursuing my medical education in Pakistan, but it was planned that I'll be moving like in my 12th grade, after completing my 12th grade from Saudi Arabia. But I moved after completing my 10th grade. And when I came here, so of course I couldn't really go into the army public school in Peshawar. So I gave an admission test to the army public school in Karachi here. So I got accepted in that school, but it was quite far away. So my mother was like, she wasn't willing me to send there. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll at least give the test. So like, if I'm accepted, that it will be with me that I got accepted into that school, into army public school. So I still have that picture of the selection list that came out. I was selected, I was interviewed. But then in the interview they asked me like, will you be joining army public? I said no, there's another school nearby. It's quite far from my home, so I won't be joining army public. I just wanted to be accepted, and have it with me that I got into army public. So that was my story of patriotism. That's the reason why I still identify as a patriotic person, but I don't identify as a nationalist. I want to accept the flaws we have, but I also want to promote what good we have and work on where we lag behind. So I think every youth should be having this perspective.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really it's crazy that you're motivated by the youth of the country, which is just
Yeah.
so incredible too, and just kind of speaking to a lot of what you were saying just about this new
Yeah.
generation in Pakistan kind of like taking control. And I think with the advent of social media and the internet too, it's like it's something that's like palpable and like connect it can be so much more organized. um
Yes.
you
True.
know um, which I'm expecting and I'm hoping will actually be able to create some like permanent, long term.
Yeah,
It, it,
effect on.
yeah, yeah, not just like little spurts of trends here
Yeah,
and there, whatever it may be. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, that's awesome. I do like the line like patriotic but not nationalistic. It's
yeah,
I think that's an important difference.
yeah,
I feel like here it's like a weird thing. Maybe it's not, it's like half of the country I feel like hates the country and the other half of the country like overly loves it, and like neither of
yeah.
those are
True,
probably are really conducive to progression, because you're either like
true.
hate everything or you think everything's completely fine. Um, but yeah, cool. That I feel like covers about everything I wanted to ask you about. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we sign off?
No, I just wanted to say that, because our podcast was mainly focused on social media influence, I just wanted to say that, don't run away from social media. Having a healthy relationship, learning and teaching our youth to, establish a healthy relationship with social media is very important. I know many friends of mine, who aren't on social media and they're very proud of it. I'm like, okay, but, even if you compare, hey, like, I'm not bragging or something, but if you compare the marks, a friend who's not on social media and the marks I got, we legit got the same marks. And I got it with YouTube, and I got it with being having 3 social media accounts. So I think it's I'm not bragging, but what I'm trying to say is that managing your time with social media is important, because though it has its cons, but the pros of social media are even greater. So you can use it as a for study purposes. You can study to create acquaintances if you wish to, or you can like just use it for legit information online. I know it has its cons, of course, I'm emphasizing on that, but learning to manage your entire life with social media, because it's an inevitable part of your life in general. It's ever growing, though right now in Pakistan, internet and social media is not as prevalent as it is in the Western society, right? But there will be a time where and it's, of course, with every minute passing, social media influence is increasing in Pakistan and in any world, even in the West. It is becoming even more greater than it was before. So I think teaching, there should be parenting techniques or teaching at the school about how to manage social media. We introduce social media with a negative aspect, like, oh, I have an unhealthy relationship, and I waste a lot of time on Instagram scrolling. But you should also highlight the positive side of it. And for the youth in Pakistan, anyone who's hearing or watching, it is very important that you use it, for your to create an influence. But aside that, if you're not a patriotic Pakistani, you don't care about the image of Pakistan, you don't have to. You can be whatever you want, but you can use it, to increase your knowledge, in IT sector, in science, in legit anything, in current affairs, whatever you're interested in. Social media can be a very great platform to initiate something, and even to look how to initiate is something that you can learn from social media. So use it for the better. Try to manage it. Read books, seek therapy, or whatever. Read books, or you can find online resources, watch videos or something. Learn how to manage time with social media and how to productively use it.
Awesome. Thank you for joining, and thank you
Thank you so
all
much
for
for having me.
listening. We will catch you next time. Stay safe.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.